Welcome, fellow Dark Souls lovers. Izzy here. This is video game footage that I recorded last night. And this was after I had made it to the Road of Sacrifices bonfire. I was feeling that I hadn't explored the Undead Settlement area thoroughly enough. I remember staring down from the top of a high tower and seeing a monster that was covered in flames. And I hadn't fought him yet. So this recording was me setting out to explore as thoroughly as I could this area for the second time. That way I could uncover any secrets or mysteries that I might have missed. It took me a while here to even realize what was happening. When it finally dawned on me, I was quite delighted. It seems the giant I had previously visited at the top of the tower was shooting down enemies all around me. And suddenly I could remember him saying in that endearing voice of his, "I'll help anytime." And that had really made me smile inside. I love the number of ambushes in this game. They seem almost constant. And they bring such a depth and aliveness to the game. Spending several hours exploring the Undead Settlement for a second time gave me an experience that was even more powerful than my first time through, which itself had been amazing. In life, the unknown is most often a thing that people fear. But in a game such as this, the unknown is your greatest friend and bringer of the highest joy. This is my fourth FromSoftware game. I played Dark Souls 1, 2, and Bloodborne before it, and I worshipped all of those. I still desire greatly to play Demon Souls one day. I have played every one of these games alone, offline, and blind, as they call it. Meaning I always go into these playthroughs not knowing anything about the game. There are many people that love the online elements, such as PvP, and that's beautiful. But for me, I find that I absolutely need to experience these very special games in my own way, for my own reasons and passions. Reasons like my love of never knowing what's coming next. The excitement of finding and trying on new and exquisite armors. Uncovering the secrets and mysteries, or not, through my own efforts.
Ah, how may I? Gracious, passing fine ash thou'st given. Let this ash bestow nourishment. I only hope these new wares content thee.
The lingering sense of danger from going it alone. Experiencing the NPC characters as real beings. Sometimes feeling pity or compassion for them.
I am weak and unfit to tend the flames. But if it would not trouble you, might I enter into your service instead?
Or a cautious respect.
What's the matter? My terms are very simple. I am allied to you for as long as you assure the girl's safety. And only for that long.
Or just being absolutely delighted by them.
Ah, oh, don't disappear like that. You had me downright worried. Anyhow, do you see that? That humongous beast? I'm no coward and I've a steady hand, but that thing makes my skin crawl. How now? Think twice before you go down that road. No! You should have waited! Well, it's too late now. I, Sigurd of the Knights of Katarina, fight by your side. Ah! We unkindled must put our duties first. But, for the moment, we've a toast to make. To your valor, my sword, and our victory together. Long may the sun shine!
And there's always the timeless fun of role-playing in all of its corny splendor.
Well, I'm going to have myself a little nap. The only thing to do, really, after a nice toast.
This was a lovely little area that I came upon, and I was a bit nervous. My Estus flasks were empty, and I only had about a third of my hit points left. And I was facing a jump that was possibly going to take off even more hit points. And when I do the jump here, you see it knocked a big chunk off, and now I'm barely alive, and there is still another big jump left. And I went through so much to get here that I really didn't feel like using a homeward bone to teleport all the way back to a bonfire. So I spent a while poring over my inventory, trying to figure out a way to survive this jump. This item restores hit points, but I only had one, and it was a gift from Sigurd. And so it meant too much for me to use it. Finally, I came upon a ring that increases damage absorption when hit points are low. And look at that! This was so thrilling. I was really glad in this moment that I hadn't used the homeward bone. Then I was hanging on by a thread without any way to heal, and I stopped to look at this beautiful horizon, and it just meant so much more, this close to death. I didn't even think I could make this short fall without it killing me. But I did. Only to then be quite nervous of these enemies. So I just kind of hung out here for a minute and watched them pace back and forth, wondering how I might make it back to the bonfire in this sorry condition. And I was starting to actually consider the homeward bone option. When experiencing a game of such tremendous depth and scope, always remember you are completely free to play however you want to play for your own unique experience at whatever pace you decide. And when a game journalist or critic rates a game a 6, a 7, or an 8 out of 10, that you feel strongly is a masterpiece, don't let them bother you. Because most game critics rush through the game because they're on a deadline, and often with role-playing games they only played the main quest line and spend about 40 hours or so on a game that you may spend hundreds of hours on. They are judging and scoring a game after only experiencing a tiny fraction of its total content. For you, the player, you may worship every one of those hundreds of hours and still come back for more. These games are for you. To love as much as you want to love. You alone decide the depth of meaning they hold, no matter what anyone else says. This, by the way, was my second attempt at this boss. I spent my entire first attempt trying to figure out how to damage him at all. And only when I accidentally swung my weapon into his belly and hit his eggs, that's when I realized how I could finally kill him. I was excited to discover an item I had been carrying around for a while, oblivious as to what its use was for, was suddenly revealed as having a purpose. But it took me a while to work up the guts to use it this way, because I still didn't know what the outcome would be.
Aha, unkindled, are we? Welcome to my abode. I am Cornix, an old pyromancer. A crow in his cage, as you see now. But here we are, an encounter for the ages. I hear the unkindled make for fine vessels. Care to learn some pyromancies from this old man?
And we could all heed this pyromancer's words of wisdom.
Most wise. A chance encounter should not be squandered. To reiterate, I am Cornix of the Great Swamp. The pleasure is mine.
Nope, the pleasure is all mine, friend. Bye-bye. Stay tuned for my next Dark Souls 3 video. Coming soon.